Hey everybody, a really good question today about needs. Hi Claire. I've started dating again 3 years after my marriage ended when my wife was unfaithful. I find that I have an almost constant need for reassurance. I worry if my girlfriend doesn't reply immediately to my messages, or if there are evenings when she wants to go out with other people. I know this need is pushing her away, but I don't know what to do about it. Yeah, needs is such a huge, amazing topic for us, and in an area where we can easily go into spiritual bypass if we're not careful. So, needs are simultaneously vital to the health and well being and flourishing of the human body mind system, and also incredibly problematic and maintaining of old trauma when they are misunderstood, and when the reality that they create is misunderstood. And I think the huge question for us is how do we find our way through them? How do we allow, or how do we encourage those needs that are from that are essentially a constant replaying of old wounds? How do they dissolve, and how does the the healthy needs, the flourishing needs come to the fore? It seems to me that the key to this happening is in our moments of suffering. Suffering really is such a gift. It's such an unveiler. It's such a doorway, a portal into the truth of us. And what we can see here is that here we have a person in a relationship who has a past trauma, and as a result of that past trauma, so he's mentioning his wife being unfaithful, but we don't know how far back it goes. A feeling of loss, a feeling of the possibility of death to our idea of self if the people that we need don't stay with us. We don't know, but we know that something has happened in the past that is now generating an insecurity and a desire to control, really a desire to hold on and to fix in place. And that desire contains suffering. And the listener knows it. It's there is this, there's a recognition of the need for constant reassurance, and the acknowledgement that that need is actually creating the very thing that it is trying to avoid, which is the absence of our partner, which is the pushing away, the active pushing away of the very thing that we're trying to hold on to. And so there is suffering contained in all of this. There is dysfunction contained in all of this. There is cognitive dissonance contained in all of this. And that is all saying, good, something here is for us to look at. There is something here to be understood and healed and integrated and reconciled. And the dysfunction that's playing out at the moment is the way in. The way into that. That's the gift of this reality, is because how reality appears, our anxieties, our fears, our shames, all of it is like the internal wounds manifested on the external. And so a partner that we can't trust, that we need to be constantly here with us, that we want to control their movements, their messaging speeds, that is not really a partner. That's not really an objective person. That is an external manifestation of our fear, of our past wounds. And until that is recognized, we're not in a relationship with someone else. We're in a relationship with ourselves. And so the suffering is the way into that. And so in this example, I worry when she doesn't reply to my messages instantly. So we send a message and silence. And in that silence is intense suffering for us. There's the past is playing out. We've got old memories. We've got future projections of what's going on, our imagination, maybe thoughts and analysis of what we're doing wrong and how can we get her to be more attentive to us. That's going on. And so there's the sensations of anxiety and fear. There's the rumination of the mind. And in the desire not to feel the fear, not to have this anxiety, we're wanting her to reply immediately, aren't we? That looks to be the solution to the anxiety. If she replies straight away, I won't be anxious anymore. And that's the pattern. And it's that pattern that is keeping the whole thing in place. Because none of the mental stuff is being questioned. The rumination, the analysis, the judgments, that's just taken as reality. And the whole system is caught in this vicious circle because it's only going to get worse. And if indeed this partner does comply to our need for constant reassurance, our demands increase, our worry increases, we just get smaller and smaller and smaller, pulling her in. So her world is contracting and nothing is satisfied. Nothing has been healed. There's still that desperation and that fear. And so the suffering in that moment, when we send the text and we don't get a reply back, the suffering in that moment is the gift. And I call these moments the real peak experience, because this is the moment in which projection of old wounds can finally, maybe for first time perhaps in 3 years, start to shift into reality. Because we sit in the suffering and we allow it in. We allow in the feeling of anxiety, the whatever it is bubbling up, the fear, and we experience it at a really visceral molecular level. We allow it in. Because this is healing what happened to us 3 years ago. We haven't been able to process that hurt. We haven't been able to integrate the fear, and now we can, because we're here, we're asking this question, we're in a conversation about what's real, we're ready. And so in that moment of no response, we fully allow in the suffering, allow it in. And at the same time, just notice what the mind is creating, notice the story. Notice the past that is coming up, the future that's coming up, the mind reading that's going on. None of that is true in the way it's held right now. Not even the memories of the infidelity. They will change. They're held at the moment from the perspective of unhealed trauma. And we know it's unhealed because it's a pattern now playing out from that. And as that trauma heals, so will the memories change. This isn't bypass. This is the recognition that the way everything appears that isn't this right now is a function of what's understood to be real. And what dictates what's understood to be real is how robust this believed insecure identity is. And so this is what we do now. Every time there's this suffering, instead of leaping for the fake solution, which is to try to force someone to text us, try to force someone to have an evening with us when they would rather be out with their friends, instead of that false solution, which is only ever maintaining the problem, we sit in our suffering and we parent it ourselves. And parenting it ourselves means to allow it in with compassion, with openness, with unconditional love. We allow it in. We allow in the sensations, and we might sit there on our own with no text messages, crying our eyes out. Maybe I've done my share. Yeah, we might well, and at the same time, it might look like everything else is collapsing around us. Yeah, that's okay. We're gonna just have it all, have all of that sensation, all of the suffering, allow it in. And like I said, we notice the stories, the narrative, none of which is true. And bit by bit, we stop through this process. It becomes less and less sensible, meaningful, or of any use whatsoever to put our needs onto an external world which is only ever a projection of those needs. And instead we allow the external world to heal the needs that have come from the sort of the limitation of an insecure me that is lacking, a me that is unworthy, a me that is shameful, insecure, fearful. That me is there for the dissolution. And what now happens, because those cycles of needs are starting to clear up, what now happens is the real needs, the healthy needs, and even the needs that are still coming really from insecurity, can be more articulated. And so we might say to our partner, I'm feeling ultra insecure right now, and I know this has got nothing to do with you, and I know it's my past trauma, but would you just tell me you love me 100 times in a row? would you spend the day or spend the next hour replying instantly to every text message I send you? We might be able to ask these things with the understanding now this is just our thing. This has got nothing to do with them, nothing whatsoever. And this is freedom now. And now there's just a more general sense of what this mind body needs for its flourishing. Yeah, good. Thank you. So much love. Bye.